Long ago, in the high valleys between old patient mountains, there rested a small town just below the snow line, where winter did not arrive as a season but as a presence. Snow softened every sound and slowed every step, as if the world itself were holding its breath. Each year, on Christmas Eve, something quietly extraordinary happened. It was never announced, never advertised, yet known in the silent corners of the heart. The final snow train would run. No tickets, no crowds, only a chance. One last passage through the cold, for those who had waited too long, or lost their way, or almost given up on getting home. The keeper of that train was a man named Elias. He had been station master for more than 3 decades, long enough for the clocks on the wall to feel like old friends, and for the rails outside to know the sound of his footsteps. He wore the same heavy coat each winter, its wool worn thin at the cuffs, and kept his watch wound with careful attention, as though time itself depended on him. That year, a letter arrived from the railway company. Service would end after spring. The tracks would be lifted. The station would fall quiet. Elias read the letter once, folded it neatly, and placed it in the bottom drawer of his desk. Beneath it lay a photograph of a younger man, smiling beside a woman whose laughter once warmed these halls but no longer echoed here. Elias closed the drawer without a sound. Christmas Eve came colder than any he could remember. Snow fell thick and unbroken, pressing down on roofs, trees, and memories alike. The station platform stood empty. At the ticket window, a single lamp swayed gently on its chain, casting a pool of yellow light that felt less like illumination and more like a promise made to no one in particular. Elias checked the clock. The hands had passed the hour when the snow train usually departed. He listened. Nothing, only wind, whispering through the beams. With a tired breath, he reached for the cord to close the shutters. "Seems no one needs it this year," he murmured, more to himself than to the room. Just then, the heavy station door creaked open. A rush of wind carried snow and urgency inside. A young woman stood in the doorway, breathless, her boots soaked, her coat dusted white. Snow clung to her lashes like small, trembling stars. Her scarf, hand-knit and green as pine needles, had slipped from one shoulder. "I am sorry," she said, her voice clear but shaking. "I missed the bus. The road was closed. I walked, I ran." She looked past him, out toward the darkened tracks. "Is the train still running?" Her name was Mara. Elias did not answer right away. He studied her, not as rules would, but as memory did. He noticed her hands, red from cold, shaking not only from the weather, but from the weight she carried. Somewhere there was a home waiting. Somewhere there was someone watching the door. Every regulation said no. The storm was fierce. The tracks had not been tested in weeks. The hour had passed, but memory spoke louder. Elias saw himself many winters ago, stranded in a distant town, watching the last light disappear down a line that would not return. He remembered the silence afterward, how heavy it felt. He turned away from the window and walked to the control desk. The logbook lay open, its pages neat and official. Elias closed it with a soft sound that echoed louder than expected. "Then we let it run," he said quietly. "Just this once." The old iron engine stirred. Steam rose slowly, white against the night. With a low, familiar chuff, the wheels began to turn, stiff at first, then steady, finding a rhythm they had not forgotten. The sound traveled through the valley like a heartbeat, remembering itself. Mara sat by the window as the train moved forward, watching snow-covered pines glide past like silent guardians. After a while, she spoke, not to break the silence, but to share it. At home, she said, the table is already set. Pancakes, maple syrup, the good plates no one uses any other day. The fire will be lit with real pine logs, so the whole house smells like Christmas. She smiled, small and fragile. My father forgets many things, birthdays, appointments. He is always late. But on Christmas morning, he stands by the stove, flipping pancakes, humming carols, completely off-key. He never misses that. Elias listened, his eyes on the track ahead. The train rolled through tunnels, dark as midnight, over bridges where the ice sang beneath them, past sleeping villages with only 1 or 2 windows still glowing like embers in the snow. At last, the lights of the town appeared. Smoke curled from chimneys, garlands hung from lampposts. Above it all, the old stone church stood sharp against a sky filled with quiet stars. The train slowed. The engine released a final, tired breath as the wheels came to rest. The church bell began to toll, slow and deep, ringing over rooftops and snowdrifts, over one heart full of gratitude and another, finally, at peace. Mara stepped onto the platform, her green scarf fluttering in the wind. She turned once. "Thank you," she said, "to make sure I got there." Then she ran, not away, but toward the light spilling from a doorway, toward arms opening wide. Spring came, the rails were lifted, the station fell silent. But some say that on certain winter evenings, when the air is still and the wind moves just right, you can hear it, the faint rhythm of wheels, the echo of a choice made in kindness. If you are listening now, pause for a breath. Think of one place, one person, one part of yourself that still feels like home. Ask gently, what is one small way I can let the train run today? You do not need grand gestures. Sometimes, opening a door or waiting a little longer is enough. Small kindness can change the whole journey. If this story touched you, like, share, and subscribe so these quiet journeys can continue.